Welcome back to Horse Racing. Today we have terrific Terry Thursday, trifecta Terry Thursday at Belmont at Aqueduct, the most longest named track on the planet. Kind of a funky day yesterday at Churchill Downs. Live going into the late pick four with four horses, and then a rainstorm comes and then just upsets everything. So
Yeah.
Just meant to not be that way, but I'm in a contest today. You can join it too. It's the fourth week, I think, over at Horseshoe Indianapolis. You go over to Tammy Knox on Twitter. Just go into Twitter, search Tammy Knox. You'll find out. You have to kind of scroll down a little bit to find the information on how to enter. Races 3 through 8 for your entertainment purposes. We also made Horseshoe Indianapolis our free track of the day over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link down in the description below here on YouTube, and also on Twitter, wherever it is that you're following us. If you haven't done so yet, you've heard it 1,000,001 times. Follow us, like us, thumbs up, hit us up in the comments section with comments. Keep the show more interactive. It's a great way to make the show more fun, but it also helps us out with the big tech algorithms. So the more people interact with us, the more you come back to watch our shows, the more you follow us, the higher up we go in the Google rankings. It's an inexpensive, free way to help the show move forward. At the end of the show, you can head on over to horseracingtoday.net. Again, there's links in the descriptions around, and you'll find a recap of today's show. It'll be the lead story right there. You'll get the beautiful big picture. You can't miss it, along with a replay of our video. And while you're there, don't miss the HRT gear button either. Get yourself a great #1 hat. You won't be able to find this anywhere else on planet Earth. So make sure you take advantage of that. 4 days left of free shipping. Let's see if we can take advantage of some great picks today, Terry, so people have reason to go over and buy a #1 hat.
Sounds good to me. We're going to go a mile claiming race, $25,000 claiming price, purse $37,000 for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won 2 races.
And it should be said that the track is muddy and the turf races are off today, which really makes up an interesting thing in race number 8. It's almost like they should have canceled that race altogether and made it an 8-race card. Essentially is. Anyway, at 1 mile, keep an eye on that because I think the first 4 or 5 races are all a mile. Early speed does great. 35% of the time it does so good that if you get to the lead, you keep the lead and you don't give it up. There's a rail place fare for Dolce Sera. 2 and 3, a bit of a discount. 4 and 7, a bonus. Again, if you wear an 8 or out, you get a little bit of a discount. 10,000 simulations around here, Terry, to get a sense of who has the best chance to get to the lead. And then from that projection, which horses are going to be in their comfort zone. Find the race closely matching their best performances. We also want to see how many times out of 10,000 where we calculate out a projected speed figure. The horse runs a speed figure at or above par. And according to the folks at Brisnet, at this level, if you can hit 77 on a speed gun, that's average. And you'll see here, 61% of the time, Charis gets that job done. And then finally, we're looking for some value. We want our simulation odds as we project out the winners, and from there, convert that to odds. We want our simulated odds to be lower than post-time odds. Terry, it looks like all of them have some juice when the gates open.
That's right, but that 3 shows the most, followed up by the outside horse 7. And then the 5 has an overlay from about 1 to 2 to 7 to 2. The 5, 3, 4, and 7 show C zones, especially the 5, which is nice. All but the 2 and 3 show some kind of a C zone. Oh, I'm sorry, par plus was the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we also do trip handicap. Look at this. Everybody wants to be. So this is your E horses. They want to be up front. EPs can stalk or be on the lead. The P horses, they want to pressure. They're not really fond of taking charge early on. PCs, they really can be anywhere on the track. And your closers, of course. These horses have not been within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line in your first-time starters. So you'll see here that this race shape heavily favors horses that can get to the front because almost everybody wants to be at the back of the race. So get to the lead. Got a good chance to win. Moonlight Weekend and Blenheim Baby, along with Toot Your Horn. But again, everybody except Charis with a chance to get to the front. The end of the race does look like Charis is about a half length quicker than the rest of the field. Our top total pace horse in here is Moonlight Weekend, Terry, along with 1010. Those two about a length better than the rest of the field. So maybe just start your day off with a 3 and 4 and move on to race number 2.
Well, I like the two, Blenheim Baby. She's finished in the money in 4 out of 5 career races, won one of the starts, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Sarish, the 5, she ran second versus Tupper in her last race, earned the highest last speed rating, drops in class today, second choice. Third choice, Moonlight Weekend. She ran second versus similar in her last race and has a trainer wins 21% of the claiming races he has an entry in. Now, number 4, 1010 is my long shot. He drops in class today, or she drops in class today. She has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 23% of the races in the second race after claiming a horse, and blinkers are added. And what we do is we get a $100 budget. We bet $2 to win on our first choice, a $1 exacta box on our first 2 choices, a 50-cent trifecta box on our first 3 choices, and a 10-cent superfecta box on our first 4 choices. We do that for all 9 races. That leaves us about $24 to bet in other areas.
Yes, we bet $100 total on the day, and we do it that way. And the reason we do every race is, Eddie Olczyk says everybody should make a bet in case you're walking around lucky and you don't know it. A lot of times I have found, I don't know about you, Terry, but when I pinpoint something specific, I'm like, I'm going to get this one right, and I don't feel so good about that one. A lot of times the one you don't feel so good about is the one that actually pops, and usually it pops at a decent price because there's really no clear standout. Speaking of which, there really isn't a clear standout in this first race. Right now, the 2-horse, Terry's top pick, Blenheim Baby, is your top choice, but only 3 to 1. So the bettors really have no idea which way they want to go on this race. So if you're going to follow me, then you want to go with the 5-horse on top, Charis. If you look at any of its last 3 races, all of them are good enough to win at or above par for this level. The one race it did have at 1 mile at Aqueduct. And again, Aqueduct is one of those 1-turn miles right here you see. So it acts more like a sprint than a route. But the last time and only time that horse ran 1 mile at Aqueduct, it won easily. So we run back to that race and maybe it lives up to all of these bright green numbers. 10-10. I really don't know what happened in that last race, but the race before that was at 1 mile on Aqueduct, at Aqueduct. If he can rerun that race, that works. That's a drop in class today as well. Number 3, Moonlight Weekend. Our good friend, Trevor McCarthy. We hope he wins every race. He's on a horse. That closes. Going to go long for the first time, though, so that's a bit of a concern. But Trevor usually really good at saving horse for the end. And then you have Blenheim Baby. This one's second off the claim for trainer Linda Rice. 24% angle for her, which is right about par for her. Drops after running a little bit faster last time out. So this race, as you can see by the odds, pretty much wide open. Looks like they're not all that far from answering the question as to which one of these horses nobody wants to bet on is actually going to get the W. Tomorrow, Thomas and I, on Friday, for Foreign Friday, we will do the Curragh. Had so much success at Royal Ascot with Irish horses. Let's see how much success we can have with Irish horses in Ireland. Make sure you keep an eye on our social sites. Again, you see them streaming down below. If you haven't done it already, kindly hit the subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, kindly hit the retweet button so other folks can join us today and hopefully get some nice winners to close out our week. Next Monday and Tuesday, we will do Parks. Wednesday, Churchill Downs again. Thursday, probably Belmont and Aqueduct. I know not too long from now, I think Saratoga is going to open, like after the 4th of July. Is that right, Terry?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So we'll keep them. Once they open up, we'll do Saratoga as much as possible. You won't want to miss any of that. They're still kind of walking their way to the gates. Mr. Terry, any thoughts from you about the card today?
Well, yeah, I think that 8th race is kind of it's really silly. I mean, everything's gone but 2 horses, and to me, I think they should just have canceled the race, really. But they don't do that. Even if they have 1 horse, they'll have it because
you can run around the track by itself. That's kind of odd.
That's right. I've seen that before when they had a really hard favorite, and like in the 50s and 60s. nobody either entered or everybody scratched and it left one horse, and they just call that a walkover, and that horse would get the purse.
Well, I wonder why, speaking of purse in that race, and we'll talk about that 2-horse race when we get there in race number 8. I mean, if I'm an owner or a trainer, right, my horse might need a workout anyway. Why not, if there's only other 2 horses in the race, why not stay in the race and get 3rd place money and just jog around the track?
Yeah, I agree.
And get a workout. Just tell your jockey, look, man, stay clear. Don't put the horse in any danger. If you win, you win. If you don't, that's cool. Finish, the worst you can do is finish 3rd, and you're going to collect a little bit of money along that way. So I don't understand why, as a trainer, you just wouldn't do that to pay bills, knowing there are only 2 other horses in the race.
Yeah, I don't either.
All right. Well, they're off and running in race number 1. And as they come down the stretch, the 4-horse, 10-10, one of the horses we thought had a shot to get to the lead, Blenheim Baby. That one in there too, Mr. Terry. That's running 2nd. As they make their way down the backstretch, they ran about 24 seconds in the opening quarter, so not the fastest of the fast. The 4-horse starting to move a little bit away. The 2-horse starting to kind of back up a little bit. I don't know if the jockey's just trying to save time or what. The 7-horse has moved in to the 2nd position. Everybody kind of keeping their running order. No one really making a whole lot of ground up. The 7 is making up some ground on the 4-horse right now. Looks like from the back of the pack, the 3-horse is moving the best. So for the 4-horse getting through the opening quarter in 47-3. The 7-horse, he's coming up on the outside, going to have a wide trip. The 2-horse, I think his day might be done as they come around the turn right here. The 4 and the 7 continue to put a battle on. But from the back of the pack, it looks like one horse is going to really maybe perhaps screw the whole thing up. And that might be I don't know, that 1 horse is coming the best, though. But really nobody wants to go. The 3-horse is trying to go with the 1 horse, but not going to get there. So it's going to go 1, 3, 7, 2, 4, and then the 6 and the 5 way in the back. My 5-horse, Charisse, dead last. So hopefully that's not an indication of the way the rest of this day is going to go.
Yeah, I think that's a really wide open race. It was hard to really pick something out of there. So,
well, if you look at our top total pace horse here, Dolce Sierra was number 3 on that list. So maybe one that should have had in that mix. So right in there too. And then the 4-horse was right there too. The 7-horse, kind of tied for that spot. So as you can see, it was a pretty open race. The bettors didn't know what to do. Apparently Terry and I didn't know what to do either. So let's see if we have any chance starting off the early pick 4 in race number 2.
All right, let's go there. Let's go that race. Tell you that it's a mile. It's an allowance race, $100,000 purse. It's for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won $18,000 other than maiden, claiming, starter, or state bred allowance, or which have never won 2 races.
And to get that 2nd win, again at a mile, typically does favor speed, although we did just see the horse come from off the pace in the opening race right there. Usually 35 out of 100 go gate to wire. The rail is fair. 2 through 3 get a discount. 4 through 7 got a bonus. And then 8 and out a discount as well. Once again, Terry, 10,000 simulations sort of didn't help us in the first race. Maybe they'll help us with the second race.
Well, that one shows lots and lots of speed in there, a lot more than any of the others. The one also has an overlay from about 1 to 2 to like, was that 4 to 5? And then the par numbers are the 1 and the 5, with the 1 showing a really nice par number. The 1 should really get, I think, to that quarter pole first. All but the 2 and 6 have some kind of C-zone numbers.
And they're all low. So this race might be uncomfortable. Again, horses running for their first win. 1, 3, and 5 their second win, showing a little bit of versatility in their running styles. Can be on the lead, don't need to be on the lead. The 2-horse wants the pressure too. This could favor a horse coming from off the pace if they decide to run too quickly up front, the 6 being the lone closer. Looking at the early speed, Terry, it does sure look like Donegal Moment will be your pace setter. Rennington, maybe about a length behind as far as your late speed is concerned. That 1 horse, wow, look at that, Terry. In its debut, another length and a half. So according to this, This horse is 34 points, 31 points better than Reddington on the total pace charts. So this horse should basically, we talk about in race number 8, having a horse just in there jogging around the track. According to this, Donegal gets to the front, doesn't really work. It's just a paid workout, and he wins pretty easily. Do you see it any other way?
No, I think Donegal Momentum is going to win this race. He won his debut race at Aqueduct. He received a 99 speed rating, and he has a high percentage winning trainer. And then I like the 6 Lambeth. He won his last race at Aqueduct. He has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and they added Lasix. The 5 is my third choice. Won his last race at Aqueduct, and he has a high percentage winning trainer as well. 2 is Surface to Air. My long shot has won 2 races in a row, going for a hat trick, and he has a good workout on June 22nd. We play Don Johnson, Miami Vice, pick 4s each day, and this is the first one for me. I'm going to use the 1-6 with the 2-5, with the 3-9-11, with the 1-3-4-5-7-9. That's a $36 ticket.
I'm trying to figure out my ticket right here. I just put a comma where a slash should go, right? I don't know what I'm doing. How many did I only do 3 races? All right. In this race, Donegal Momentum just really needs to rerun its debut, and this race is over. Can get to the lead. I don't think it have to work particularly hard to find the win against this group, but in the event something goes wrong, I'm going to back it up at Reddington. If Reddington can get the lead, that's his chance to win this race. Then he's got a shot. And one thing we know for sure about jockey Kendrick Carmouche, he will absolutely push this horse to the front. I think he's going to give it everything he got. If he can get to the front on comfortable fractions, he's got a shot to win. But if he runs too fast, I think he could finish dead last. The number 5, Carfi? Yeah, we'll go with Carfi in here. Last time out, this horse was 3 seconds faster. That's a lot of improvement from one race to the next. But my question is, the horse doesn't go to the winner's circle on back-to-back trips. So maybe a little bit of regression today. And then Lambeth, aside from the one horse in this race, maybe has the most upside. It's a 3-year-old getting Lasix for the first time, and maybe that dose of Lasix is enough to upset what's likely to be the 1-5 number 1 horse. And because of that, I only put 2 horses in my pick 3. I put the 1 and the 3 in there just in case somehow Kendrick can get to the front and steal this one at a good price. 1, 2, 5, 6 with 3, 6, 9, 11, and then closing it out with the 1, 5, 9. That is a $48 pick 4. If that one horse wins and it goes a little bit chalky throughout the rest of the card, you might not get $48 back. So you might think about trimming yours a little bit from there. Reddington doesn't seem to like the same horse outside of the Atras barn. Yeah, that's probably pretty true too. I know he comes from the Robert Tino Diodoro coaching tree, and a lot of those horses in the whatchamacallit, in the Diodoro barn, they do regress coming out of the barn and they improve going into the barn. We'll see if hopefully, I'm just hoping Kendrick can get to the lead or Scary Creation. Somebody's got to try to upset this 1-5 likely horse with that one horse. And I think the only shot you got at it is to get to the front and discourage it. That's probably about it. Blows the doors off. You think the 6 horse is going to blow the doors off of Donegal? Okay. Let's see what happens. Got a pretty bold statement. And the last time Scary Creations made a bold statement about one horse absolutely smacking another was when he said the one horse would get the lead on that 7 horse. And the one horse did, in that race, get the lead on the 7 horse. We projected it to get to the lead too. But it just walked from the start to the finish line. And everybody else was crawling because it just blew everybody away. Race 3, Terry. Any horses in here? Well, first of all, it's another mile race, but a whole lot more conditions than we've seen so far.
Yeah, it's an optional claiming race, $45,000 claiming price if you elect to put your horse in there to possibly be claimed. Purse is $85,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards, foaled in New York State and approved by the New York State Bred Registry, which have never won $18,000 twice, other than a maiden, claiming, or starter, or which have never won 3 races, or an optional claiming price of $45,000.
And right here is if you know if they're in for a price or not. You see 45 grand. If you want to buy Cut the Cord, you may do so for 45,000. Terry's walking around pocket change. Again, early speed does win pretty heavily, usually at a mile at Aqueduct. A bunch, a little more than 1 and 3, winning on the lead. The rails fair for Cut the Cord. 2 and 3 get a discount. 4 through 7, they get a bonus. 8 now discounted as well, Terry. So a little bit of accordion action. Good, bad, good, bad. As far as the early speed is concerned, Terry, it's another one of those races where a bunch can get to the front, but maybe one has the best chance of all.
Yeah, that's true. All of them show some speed, but that outside horse, the 7, shows the most speed. The 1 has an overlay from 6 to 1 to 8 to 1. The 2 has a really small overlay. I think that's about 6 to 5 to 7 to 5. Mm-hmm. And then the 5 also has a small overlay. It's almost the same, so it's really not much of an overlay. The 6 and the 2 show the only par plus numbers, and all of these horses have C zones, although the 4, 5, and 6 are pretty low.
Yeah, trip handicapping for the 3rd spot. Again, another race where maybe the 7, Rocket and Roll, if he can get to the lead, has a shot. The 1 and 3 do have enough versatility to push him along if he decides to go too slow. At the start of the race, we do find that there's really not a big discrepancy. Maybe Cut the Cord is the only one that might not challenge for the lead, but plenty of them within a length of one another. So if you get bumped, come out of the gate a little sideways or a little delayed, spin your wheels, that sort of stuff, could be first, you could be 6th, the quarter-mile marker. At the end of the race, Cut the Cord will be coming the hardest of them all. That and Mighty Atlas, the PC and closers, will be coming hard, but you got some horses that might be a little bit more forwardly placed with some similar late speed, being the 6 and the 5, making those 2 your top total pace horses, with the 6 about 3/4 of a length better than the rest. Kind of a good drop-off to the 3, 4, and 7. So just from a pace standpoint, the 6, 5, 2, and 1 of those is likely to come out as your winner, Terry. Which one do you think it is?
Okay, well, I like the 2 Mighty Atlas as my top pick, finished in the money in 6 out of the last 7 races and won 2 of those starts, the last 2, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then the 5 Shadow Dragon is my second choice. He finished 3rd in his last race after being bumped at the start, and has the highest speed figure at today's distance. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Number 6, Dr. Kraft, is my 3rd choice, finished in the money in the last 6 races, has the highest last speed rating. And Majestic Frontier, the 3, is my long shot. He finished 2nd at today's distance, and he switches to a high percentage winning trainer. No additional bets for me here.
So it looks like this is the first time Drock has. You can comment on Twitter. So if you're on Twitter too, hit us up in the comment section. I don't know how to do it, but apparently somebody does. So question from Scary: when you all play the horse tournaments, do you ever play the 1 to 9s? Never. When we had on Scott Fielder, who wins a lot of these contests. When you see the horse tourney, like they send out those emails kind of updating you on the most recent tournaments. He's won a whole bunch of them, won a lot of money doing it. We had him on our show. You can see it on our YouTube channel. You can just Google how to win horse racing tournaments. He says he doesn't take anybody under 7 to 2 in the morning line odds. It doesn't mean they don't get bet down to 1 to 9, because a lot of them are pick and pray. So you pick your horses before the races start, and you can't change your picks as the races move on. Typically for me, what I'm looking for, to be honest, Scary, is I'm looking for in my top picks, the one I think has the best chance to get forward and maybe be a little bit more forward than usual today and have a shot to get up to the front and hit at a little bit of a better price. So that's usually what I'm looking for. And I haven't, to be fair, I haven't qualified yet via those tournaments, any of them. I've come so close so many times that it disgusts me that I haven't gotten there yet. The 6 horse for me, Dr. Kraft, is a left arrow horse. That's one of those horses in our pace setup that has a good shot to be more forward than usual. We did mention he has some of the best late speed in there. He should be able to finish this race out. I feel like this horse, Dr. Kraft, is a perfect fit for Trevor McCarthy. Sits right off the pace, has enough late legs to get involved and then run by at the end. Mighty Atlas, the 2 horse, does run very well. when he's doing the 1-turn mile at Aqueduct. Does also have some strong late speed and shouldn't be that far off the pace here, though. I do think probably towards the middle to the back part of the early part of the race. Shadow Dragon, the 5-horse, the third call. Second race after a layoff says that this race will either be the same as the last one, which would just be an in-the-money finish, but occasionally puts a huge pop in round 2 off the bench. And if that's the case, I don't think they stop that horse from winning no matter what kind of trip they get. And then finally, Cut the Cord. The 1 horse is my final choice. If Kendrick Kermouche, and we know this is what he wants to do, he told us on our Horse Center show, he wants to get to the front. If he can get to the front, then Cut the Cord has the late speed to finish out. I'm going to do $1 exact the key box, the 6, my left arrow horse, over the 125. That's 6 of my $24. The Mighty Atlas. Race number 4 is next up. Terry, a bunch of scratches on this one. It was supposed to be on the turf, but it's not.
That's right. They took it off the turf. It's on the main track. It's a 1-mile race instead of a mile and 16th. It's a maiden claiming grade, $75,000 claiming price. Purse $55,000 for maidens and fillies and mares, 3 years and old and upward.
That Donegal momentum in that next race is 1-5. So Scary Creations 6-1. I know Terry will be pulling for that one to come home the winner. I'll like to start off his pick 4. At a mile, we've talked about that a bunch of times already. So 4 straight races at a mile. Early speed, a little better than the third win, wire to wire. Real good, 2, 3, not so good. 4 through 7, probably the best. 8 and out, again, a little bit of a discount. Speed does matter, Terry. And with the scratches, it sure looks like there's one major beneficiary.
Yep, that 9 horse has got the only speed in here, so really should go right to that quarter pole first. And then the 2 has an overlay from 6-1 to 30-1, which is really nice. And the 8 has an overlay from about almost 4-1 to 10-1. The 11, 8, 2, and 3 show par plus numbers, and all but the 6 shows C zones, although some of them are pretty low.
Pace setup for the 4th race, a little bit spread out. The 9 horse, there is Enigmatic, your likely pace setter. And if it get to the front on that lone E status, 10 points clear of maturity date. That one should be a length and a half, 2 lengths ahead of everybody else, especially since the 11 is the next best in terms of early speed. Princess Summer going to be right in the mix too, competing for that co-pilot spot. Question is how far off and what do the fractions look like. That 6 so far, not within 5 lengths of the leader. The 5 Ori going to give it a go for the first time. At the end of the race, Princess Summer might be the one coming the best. It's a full length faster than everybody else in the race, notwithstanding what the 5 horse brings to the table. Our top total pace horse by 9 points. So it's just off of 1 race. Princess Summer, according to this, is a winner by about 1.5 to 2 lengths. Terry, you don't have that one in your picks, but we both think the 11 will be at the top of our picks.
Yeah, I like maturity date. She finished 3rd versus Tougher on the dirt in her last race, drops in class today. She has a high percentage winning trainer. This trainer wins 24% of the races in the 2nd race after claiming a horse. Enigmatic, the 9 is my second choice. She ran 4th in her last race at Oakland Park, was claimed by a high percentage winning trainer, Linda Rice, and has now a new jockey in the irons, Jose Lascano, and has a bullet workout on June 14th. And then Redo, the 3 is my third choice, has a trainer who wins 20% of the races when taking a horse from a maiden to a maiden claiming race. And her best turf speed is fastest among today's starters. She's actually tied with my long shot, the 8 day away. She ran 2nd on the all-weather track in her last race, and her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. I made the 11 as my pick of the day, and I'm going to bet $16 to win on the 11, and then I'm going to use a $1 daily double, use the 10 on the 11 with the 3, 4, 5, and 9.
Where are you at then at Emin and Kiwan? I like the idea of being somewhere with 2 huts out on the ocean or the water somewhere. Maybe if you own a place with 2 huts on the ocean somewhere, Terry and I can make our way down there for a month or 2 or 12 to do our shows live.
Yeah.
Of course, we get complimentary huts and all you can eat buffet for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All right. I'm going to start with the 11 maturity date. Tough call for me over that 6 horse in there. The resume just says that a much better race is coming today in the second start after a layoff. The 6 horse, Princess Summer, when you look at that debut race, I mean, the horse was really never in contention from start to finish. But if you read through the internal numbers, even if it starts as slow as it did in the last race, it's going to be right in the mix, not including the 9 horse. So any early race improvement should put that horse in the co-pilot spot. And any improvement in that second start off of the debut should be enough to maybe put this one in the winner's circle, especially if this one is in the mix when the gates open. Enigmatic, the 9 horse, maybe just too much early speed for the rest of these horses in here. Should get off to an easy lead, but I'm certain that all the other trainers see that 9 horse has a lot of jets. Somebody's going to send with them to keep it honest and hope that the pace is fair. And then finally, the 3 horse Redo was a tough call over Terry's 8 for me, but it has less races under its belt, meaning there's possibly more upside. Our good friend Scary Creation says keep an eye on that 2 horse. And of course, looking at the 2 horse does have that strong par plus score in there. In fact, it's the 3rd best, and then also has some of the best odds, the 3rd best odds as well. So maybe the 2 horse absolutely should factor into your picks right there. 11, 6, 9, and 3 for me. Middle race on the card is the 5th race. No scratches here, Terry, and I think we finally get away from running 1 mile.
Yeah, it's 6.5 furlongs. It's a claiming race, $16,000 claiming price, $28,000 purse for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won 2 races.
The profile of a 6.5 furlong winner does, again, favor early speed. 36% of the time, get the lead from go, and you're the one that gets the photo at the end of the race. Post positions 1, 2, and 3 get a discount. Really, the farther you are from the rail, the better off, or the more likely English, Richard. The more likely you are to win, Terry. So outside speed for the Buffalo Girls in race number 5. Which Buffalo Girl is going to go around the outside?
Well, you can see there that all the horses but the 7 show some kind of speed, but that 9 on the outside has the most speed. So it might just get there. And that 4 has a overlay from about 3.5 to 1 to 6 to 1. And also the 5 has an overlay from 4 to 5 to 5 to 2. And then the 5 has only par plus numbers. And all but the 8 have C-zone numbers, and most of those are pretty nice.
Yeah, we're typically looking for a number of 50%, so more than a 50% chance that today's pace will actually look a lot like the pace of the races where the horses ran their best race. In the 5th race, we once again see a field where everybody kind of wants to be middle back at a distance and surface that tends to favor early speed. So if you get to the lead, you should have an edge. Looks like Julia's Rose is another left arrow horse, a closer with enough early speed to be on the lead today. I don't even want to pronounce that one. Pauciloquent, maybe, I don't know. Sun and Wind should be in that mix too, but maybe a little bit too much speed on the inside for that one to clear and go first into that turn. Looking at our late picture, Book of Wisdom, along with Lady Fortuna and Love Like Crazy. They're about a length better than everybody else, with the 5 and the 4 involved early. At the end of the race, put A plus B equals C. Book of Wisdom and Love Like Crazy, they're a length better than the rest of the field in here, Terry. Which one is your winner?
I like the 5 Book of Wisdom as my top choice winner. Last race at Aqueduct has the best start speed among today's starters and a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then that 4 horse Loved Like Crazy is the second choice, switches to a high percentage winning jockey, and blinkers are added today to keep her mind on business. And then I like the 3 Dashandella. She drops in class today and has a good workout on June 22nd. The 9 is my long shot, Sun and Wind. Finished 3rd in her last race and is is 1 for 1 at today's distance. So she likes the distance. No additional bets for me here.
So the 9 horse I think getting that outside post is helpful for that horse. Had some really nice workouts back in May, some of the best workouts the horse has ever had. And then since then, they've kind of just maintained. They don't want to over sharpen the saw right there. The lone trip at the track at Aqueduct and at today's distance was by far the best race for this horse. So maybe he's a horse for the course specifically at 6.5 furlongs. The 5-horse Book of Wisdom, it took 10 races to finally win a race. Does he go back to back? Yeah, I don't know. Does she go back to back? Excuse me. Linda Rice does win at 21% following the maiden win versus 16% overall. So a bit of alpha for Ms. Rice. Juliana's Rose, the 1 horse, the 3rd call for me. Lowest level of her career. Really, this one gets off to a quick start. Couldn't run away from this group. And then finally, number 4, Love Like Crazy. They're going to put Manny Franco on this horse. And the reason they're going to put Manny Franco on this horse tells me that this horse, which usually gets off to a slow start, Manny's going to push this horse today. That's what I think the jockey change does. And let's see if the change in style leads to a better result. We got 3 minutes until that 1 to 5, Terry, goes after it. So let's try to run through race number 6 as fast as we can.
All right, let's do that. It's 6 furlong, and it used to be on the turf, but now it's off. And it's going to be optional claiming, $45,000 claiming price, first $85,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which were foaled in New York State and approved by the New York State Registry, which have never won $18,000 twice, other than the maiden claiming or starter, which have never won 3 races, or an optional claiming race of $45,000.
Coming up on race number 2, Christopher D'Souza and Scary Creations, they are in agreement with that 6-horse being the one to beat in there. So when those two minds come together, you probably should listen. Race number, so he's got 6 over the 1, 2, race 2, exact the trifecta box. In race number 5, Race Master saying doesn't understand why we're overlooking the 7 and 8. Those are your coded English. Race number 5, the 2-horse, is the one that Christopher D'Souza is going to be backing at 6 furlongs. Terry, real fast. You're looking for horses that have some speed. Half of them go wire to wire, so you better be forward. A bit of a rail bonus. 2 and 3 get whacked hard. 4 through 7 is a bonus as well, and the best place to be is 8 and out. So be anywhere but post number 2 or 3, Terry. With 50% of them going fast, Terry, who's the fastest of the fast?
Well, the 10, that outside horse, has the most speed, as you can see. And then the 2 shows an overlay from 2, almost 5 to 2 to 6 to 1. The 10 shows the nicest par plus number, and then along with the 1. And then the all but the 12, all but the 10, all of them show, but the 10 has the most.
All right. So in the 6th race, our pace set up for what's remaining. A lot of versatility. Nobody's lead dependent. The 2 is a lone PC. Those horses can be dangerous. 3 and 9 want to close. Early pace does look like, minus Brew Pub, anybody can get to the front. As far as the excellent timing, that 100, 7 points better than anybody else. That's about a length and a half, and that's stakes level early speed. At the end, Brew Pub, almost stakes level late speed. Our top total pace horse in here is the 2-horse, 10-cent Town. Everybody except maybe the 6 works for me with a chance. Real quick, Terry, your picks, because they're about to go into gates.
I like Works for Me. He ran second in his last race, which is a high percentage winning jockey. The 10, excellent time, is my second choice. Won his last race at Saratoga, has a high speed favorite today's distance, and a high percentage winning jockey. Acoustic Avenue is the 3rd choice, the 5. Finished 3rd on the dirt in the last race as a favorite, but he comes back with a high percentage winning trainer who wins 27% of the races when bringing a beaten favorite back. And then the 8, Fortune's Nephew, is my long shot, finished 3rd in his last race and has a good workout. I'm going to play a Miami Vice, pick 4, 2, 5, 6, 8, 10 with the 2, 3, 5, 8, single the 9 with the 1, 2, 3, 14, 15, 16, $48 ticket.
I am going to go with the 9-horse. I'm going to try to beat a horse that's going to be a huge favorite. Brew Club. Going to take a shot at taking out that heavily favored 10-horse. Really strong workouts. The best time the horse ever ran on its life was an off-track like today, although the sun's out, might get upgraded. The last time this horse won, it came off the bench to win. So let's see if it can repeat that performance today. The 10 horse did run the top last race speed figure, 5 points clear of everybody else, is going to dash to the front with IRAD on the horse now. 50% of the time they win by wire to wire. 10 Cent Town, I think, is another one that has a chance to upset the 10. Second by a neck at this level last out. Going to be better up in the second start after a layoff. Hit 100 on the speed gun. The only time the horse ran on a muddy track. I don't think it'll be muddy by then. And then finally, Acoustic Avenue. That one, the 5 horse for me. I'm leaving out that 2-1, Terry's top pick. Definitely been facing the toughest company of this crew. The last time this horse won on last time he ran on an off track, winner by 9 1/4 lengths. I'm going to go 2-9-10, 2-4-12, 2-9, 1-2-3, 15, 16 for my pick 4. Just in time for race number 2, where everybody, Scary Creations and our man Chris D'Souza, loving that 6 horse at 5-1. The exact opposite of the odds of Donegal Momentum, who's 1-5. I'm sorry, guys. I'm kind of hoping for the 3 horse to get out to the lead right there, that Kendrick can somehow snatch the lead from the 1 horse, discourage that 1 horse, and then run on to the finish line in a wire-to-wire effort at 14-1. The 1 horse that nobody's talking about that we both have picked in there is the 5 horse. So watch that one just screw the whole thing up there. And they're off and running. And indeed, Kendrick has tried to keep up with the 1 horse, but to no avail. 1 horse is easy lead. 3-2, it's in between horses to the outside, not where he wants to be, I'm sure. Kind of Kendrick trying to kind of restrain that horse a little bit as the 5 horse come down on him a little bit. So you got the 1, the 5, and the 6. The 1 down on the rail again, kind of strolling along relatively easily. Jockey really hasn't asked him to do much at 1-4, but really everybody with some chance to win this race, because it looks like they're all bunched up about what? You got 3 lengths from the nose of the 1 to the tail of the 3. Kendrick has really restrained his horse a lot. The horse looks like it's running all over it, wants to go. Kendrick's kind of holding him back a little bit. I don't know why that would be. But here they come around the turn. The 1 horse is steadily advancing, starting to move away a little bit from the rest of the pack. Jockey really hasn't asked him to go yet. The 2 horse is the only other one that hasn't really been asked to make a move. Kendrick is out on his horse now. Maybe they were just trying to get into second place. The 2 horse is in second. The 3 horse is going to come wide. Just kind of interesting trip right there. If anybody's going to upset this 1 horse, it's probably going to be the 2. Looks like the 3 horse is going to end up in the 2 horse is making up a little bit of ground on this 1 horse right now too, at 1-5. I think he's going to run by him at the end here, to be honest with you. I don't know if he will or he won't, but I think he is. Yep, the 2 horse. 2 runs by 2, 1, 3, 6, 5. I really wonder. I really wonder about that ride from Kendrick, to be honest with you. I wonder if he was told not to go with the 1.
Maybe not. Maybe, yeah. But that 2's 21-1.
Well, he was the longest shot on the board. Remember, one of the other lessons Scott Fielder gave us when he came on the show was in 5 horse races.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about playing those competitions, Scary Creations. He said that almost all of the big money winners in 5 horse fields take the longest shot on the board. And you'll see that a lot of times the ones who win those competitions in the 5 horse race, they do have the longest shot on the board because everybody's going with that short price.
Yep.
I wonder if Kendrick does ride shotgun to the 1 horse all the way around the track instead of holding him back. You see him actively restraining that horse because he was definitely moving the best at the end. If he's a little bit closer, if he's got a better shot of actually upsetting both of them. But those are the decisions you make, right?
That's right.
What you play 3 contests and one of them you played the 2. So that one right there, you probably have the best shot. Is track is labeled fast right now. Brew Pub never won on a fast track. That bothers me a lot. Yeah, and the track is too fast now. I agree. All right, Terry, what are we doing next?
All right, we're going to go to that 7th race or 8th race. Yeah, 7th race. I don't know why I've got 8 there.
Yeah,
But
race number 7, 3 races to go as we both get whacked out of our pick 4s again.
Yeah, that's too bad.
It happens. So we'll just
It's
hit the
my
last one.
Yeah, but it was my long shot. I picked it as my long shot. But anyway, 6 furlongs, main claiming 30,000, purse 38,000. For maidens, 3-year-olds and upward, foaled in New York State and approved by the New York State Registry.
6 furlongs we talked about. Half the horses go wire to wire. So keep an eye out on the speed horses. A bit of a rail bonus for perfect outcome. So maybe outruns 30-1 odds. 2 and 3 again hit hard. Everything else runs okay. So just stay away from the 2 or 3 horse, but really identify the horses you think have the best chance to get to the lead. And with the 13 scratching, it sure looks like one of them is going to have the beginning of the race to itself.
Yeah, the 2 does. The 2 has all that speed. The only other horse shows any kind of speed is that 12, and it's not very much at all. The 2 has an overlay from 1 to 2 to about 3 to 1. The 2 and the 8 show the only par plus numbers, but the 2 is really nice. The 2, all of them but the 12 shows C zones, and they're all pretty nice. The 2 is a pretty nice one too. So
yeah, 2 your green go horse, green on the C zone, green on the lead, best par plus horse. Gonna be your big favorite in there for certain. But maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Looks like a lone E-type horse for the 2 horse. Everybody else middle back or 6, 9, and 10 trying for the first time. The 5 and 12 so far, they haven't fired in their races a bit, not within a handful of lengths of the winner. When they took the photo, looking at our late speed, and here on the ledge, along with that early speed, also has the most late speed. You can't pass what you can't catch, Terry. That horse is your top total pace horse. It is 11 points clear of everybody else. There are questions with that 2 horse, Terry. Being off for more than a year, why do you think that's not an issue?
Well, I just think he finished 3rd versus Tougher in his last race. He drops in class today, has a highest speed, best dirt speed among today's starters. And then Stanley Ruff, the 3, is my second choice. Ran 2nd versus Similar in his last race as a favorite, but has a high percentage winning trainer. This trainer wins 27% of the time when he brings a favorite back to race again. And then Spoofy, the 8, is my 3rd choice, finished 3rd versus Tougher in his last race and drops in class today. Wisecracker, the 5, is my long shot, drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. No additional bets for me as I'm out of money.
I'm going to go with that 2 horse in there too, Terry. On paper, it's a pure maiden special weight dropper. Looks like on paper should be an easy winner in here, but it's been off for more than a year, so that's a bit of a concern. The workouts really, they were okay. Nothing spectacular in that group of workouts, and I find it interesting that the horse comes back from a long break and then basically goes to the lowest level of maiden claiming at Aqueduct or very close to it. Why not try 50,000 or 100,000 or one more crack at maiden special weight before making that drop? There's no question in my mind that they're looking to sell the 2 horse. Is that looking to sell a tell that it might never live up to its promise? We'll see. Race number 7, Christopher D'Souza, who puts in the boom. I think when you get a 40 some odd dollar horse at the top of your exacta, you can do 2 booms there, Christopher. I think that's fair enough. In race number 7, he likes the 8 horse Spoofy. He agrees with Terry's 3rd pick, along with the 1 and the 2. I'm going to go a little bit of a different route in my 2nd pick. I'm going to go with the 12 horse, U-Butte. The horse ran as a 2-year-old, one time, stopped. And then they put it on the sidelines, bled, obviously, couldn't get it to stop bleeding. Came back as a 3-year-old last time out. Got some Lasix for the first time and held its speed much deeper into the race than it did in its debut. Many jockeys, many trainers feel like that 2nd dose of Lasix is more effective than the 1st dose of Lasix. Maybe that's the case with the 12, but also has 3 maintenance workouts between races. So I think the 12 does break sharply today. And because of that additional workouts and the 2nd time of Lasix, more fitness today. There's your upset at a price, I hope. Number 4, Braca. Early speed for this guy. Gets first time Lasix. That helps. and since its debut is upped its speed figure in every single race. So maybe the Lasix helps that trend continue. And then finally, the 8-horse was a tough call for me over your 8, Spoofy. Did show some improvement at this level last out in its second career start. So maybe the third race is the charm. I'm going to go at a trifecta 2, 4, 12. I'm really hoping that 12-horse shows up and goes wire to wire. 2, 4, 12, and then the 2, 3, 4, 8, and 12 for what could be a high price trifecta if the 2-horse runs off the board. Number 8 race, we talked about this one, Terry. This one, I don't even know why they're running it. I'm curious to see what you think. They're going to run a 1.125 miles. I mean, does it matter how they get in, Terry, in your opinion?
No, it's 1.125 miles on the main track, and it's for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won 18,000 other than maiden, claiming starter, or state bred, or allowance, or which have never won 2 races. But
yeah, I mean, there's only 2 horses in the field.
Yeah,
they look like they're both. It looks like the 2's marginally quicker than the 9. Would you say?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. But none of them have an overlay. None of them have a par number, and the 2 and the 9 have some C zones, but with the 2 being the best.
Yeah, and then looking at this, they're both closers.
Yeah,
they both have almost identical late pace numbers in here, Terry. I mean, just from a math standpoint, right? From a math standpoint, there's 2 horses in the race, 50-50 chance that either one of them can win.
Yeah.
So if one's going to clearly be below 1-to-1 odds, and one's going to be above 1-to-1 odds. I don't think they'll both be under 1-to-1. That would be kind of interesting. But if either one of them is over 1-to-1, whether you feel like it's the better horse or not, just from a straight probability standpoint, if one of them goes off at 6-5 or 7-5, and the other one goes off at 1-5, you got to take the 7-5 horse because you're getting better odds than you should get. But in that, notwithstanding that, Terry, why is your 9 horse going to win?
All right. Well, I like the 9 horse because she came in from Ireland to compete in a grade 3 race and finished 6th after being bumped and being crowded. She now drops in class. She has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and they added Lasix. The 2 finished 3rd in her last race and has a high percentage winning jockey.
And that last race number 7, Scary Creation had a black cat named Stormy. Found it in a ditch, so he's going to take Very Stormy. That is the horse is the 10 horse. All right. He's going to put it with the 2 and then the 12, U-Butte. All right. When I didn't bet Rich Strike, I regretted not doing the name handicapping angle for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the 9, I think the 2 horse is actually going to be the one on the lead, Terry, in here. But you do have a Chad Brown horse, peak popularity, dropping from a grade 2. He's probably going to win by 100 lengths. But the 2 horse, Any Port, as I mentioned, it's a 50-50 race just by straight 2 horses in the field. I feel like the smart play is to take whichever one has a higher odds, especially if it gets the lead and its odds are over 1-to-1. I mean, that's just a straight math play, has nothing to do with horse racing. And sometimes just doing straight math is the best way to go. The 9 wins this race for fun. 2 has no chance. Never won on dirt or never won at the distance. Yeah, that's why I said you're going to win by 100 lengths. But just from a probability standpoint, if something has a 50-50 chance and you're getting better than 50-50 odds, better than 1-to-1 odds, over the course of time, it will prove to be profitable for you.
Yep.
All right, last race of the day, Terry, another one that's marred by a bunch of scratches. What were they supposed to do?
They were supposed to be on the outer turf. So now they're going to the dirt, 6 furlongs, a maiden claiming $40,000 claiming price. Purse $45,000 for maidens, fillies, and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards, full to New York State and approved by the New York State Registry.
6 furlongs, we talked about it. Be fast. Half of them win on the lead. Just don't wear a 2 or a 3. So if you're fast and you're not wearing a 2 or a 3, you got an excellent chance to win, Terry, in this shortened field. Who's not wearing a 2 or 3 that has some speed?
The 16, it appears to me, has some speed there, and that's about the only one. And then none of them show any overlays. And then the 2, 3, 1, 5, 1, 15, and 16, they have the par plus numbers. And then 8 has the most or the best C zone, as you can see there. Then 1, 15, and 16 also show some decent season.
We should note that for first-time starters, what we basically do is we take the average for all the horses in the race. So if it just runs an average race relative to the rest of these horses, compared to all of these horses, where would it rank with all of these horses? That's how first-time starters get numbers. Looking at our race shape, you do see the 1 and the 15. They are your first-time starters. The 2 and the 8, Fit as a Fiddle and Tone of Silence, neither of which has been close. 13 and 14, they've wanted to close. The 16, Inflammable, that one showing some speed, probably going to be your pace setter today. Notwithstanding what the 1 or 15 do in their first career starts. The end of the race, they all have very similar late speed in there. I mean, they're all almost identical. So it looks to me, if the 1 and 15 do what the rest of these ones do, they're just going to run in a pack around the track, and they're not really going to move much at all, because they all run the same speed to get started. They all run the same speed at the end. So whichever one gets the lead early, Terry, should be the one that wins this race, because it doesn't look like really anybody's going to make up a lot of ground on them. So why did you go with the first timer?
Okay, well, I like that number 1 horse because her breeding suggests she'll like, well, that doesn't matter. Her breeding suggests she'll like the sprint distance. She has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer and a really good workout on the 21st of June. Then the 15 strong play, she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and she has a good workout on June 21st. 16 Inflammable. She drops in class today, and her dam has 2 winners from 5 starters. And then I like the 3 as my long shot. She finished 3rd versus similar in the last race. She has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 26% of the races the second time he uses Lasix, and she has a high percentage winning jockey.
Well, I think the 1 horse, they're going to put Manny Franco up on there. That tells me they're going to push for the lead. 50% go wire to wire. Great workout, and your last workout before going to the live racing today. 47 and 4 for 4 furlongs. So expect the 1 to try to break sharp. If it breaks sharp, good chance to go wire to wire. If the 1 doesn't get to the front, then Inflammable, the 16, I think that 1 does get the lead. And like I mentioned, everybody else, once they get going, they all run at 1 pace all the way around the track. So if the 16 can get to the lead by a half of a length, maybe that whole blob of horses runs around the track with the 16 staying a half a length ahead of everybody all the way around. Strong play, the 15 is another first-timer with good workouts, decent breeding, and trainer Linda Rice. Ordinarily in New York, you wouldn't want to discount the Linda Rice horse, but she underperforms and badly in first-time starts. And then finally, Realta, the 3 horse. If that one has any improvement from her last race, it would be enough to probably win this race, and does have a trio of maintenance workouts between spots. That should be enough for that horse to improve today. Our full picks for our final day of U.S. racing so far, let's see, the 2 horse won and then the 6 horse won. So we're doing great, Terry. Our 4th pick in 1 race has found the winner's circle. Hopefully, the rest of the day, we shine better than that, Terry.
I would hope so.
Yes, indeed. Well, it can only get better, as they say, from here. So we got about, 12 minutes, much too much time to go to kill between here and the 3rd race. So whatever it is you're doing today, well, first of all, Terry, remember, there are some free picks today at Guaranteed Tip Sheet for Horseshoe Indianapolis. If you search Tammy Knox on Twitter, you can enter a contest. That's races 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Also, you can head on over to our mothership, horseracingtoday.net, for a recap of today's show. Just ignore the first 2 races and look at the rest. And then while you're there, hit the HRT gear stuff and get yourself a wonderful number 1 hat, because you are the number 1 community in horse racing, hands down. All right, Terry, any final thoughts from you before we get out of here for the weekend?
Yeah, I just hope that everybody that's watching the show and hasn't subscribes to our channel and hits the little bell so they're notified about all the great shows that are put on, and then also goes down and copies that link and sends it to their friends and relatives, everybody, and then goes to our social site at Horse Race, the number 2 day, give us thumbs up and likes. And I hope everybody has a great rest of the week, including the weekend. I'm looking forward to the races on Saturday at Churchill Downs. So
What is it, the Stephen Foster or something like that?
Yeah,
Big
Stephen
race?
Foster. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Well, we'll have all that covered, of course, at Guaranteed Tip Sheet, along with our comments and thoughts about all of the big stakes races. You don't want to miss any of that. Tom and I will be back tomorrow for our comments and thoughts on the big races on Saturday and Sunday at the Curragh in Ireland. Between here and there, no matter what you're doing this weekend for fun, for work, for life goals, whatever it is you're trying to achieve, we certainly hope it has God's grace, God's favor, that you treat people like you want to be treated in every single thing you do. From now until the time we get back there together again, ends up in Terry's favorite place,
The winner's circle.
Indeed. Have a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow and then Monday.